Okay, so this is the part two, and I try not to go to a part three, but this is the part two. That's my 2 year old. She's fine. She got my teeth in there. She just want to be nosy and come in. So I'm just gonna ignore her, ignore her. But like I was saying, I continue to get like worse. And at one point in time, he tried to like, oh, and I did my workers clean for work. As far as that, it kind of was like a messy situation where the manager, she told like the workers comp people basically that I had a wreck, and she felt like whatever was going on was from my wreck, which really was none of her business because she's not a doctor. So like she can't say, what caused what was going on when it was because of my wreck. So basically she kind of told them, and my claim was denied. It wasn't the same person that I told, that I had a problem, the initial whatever. It wasn't the person. It was like the assistant manager of the store. She kind of called. So when the workers people come, people kind of like investigated, and that's basically what they told me. They was like, well, the manager said that you had a wreck and so, and that, and I was like, well, yeah, I did have a wreck, but I wasn't being treated for like this in particular. So how, like first of all, I guess I could have said that was like a HIPAA violation because there really was none of her business telling people when she didn't even know what I was being treated from for my wreck in the first place. So, because like I said, I never came into work with no work with like a cast on my arm or anything. So first of all, you don't even know what was going on, which I was getting treated for like my neck and my back from that wreck. Those wrecks. There's more than one wreck. And anyways, at that time, I believe I was done with my treatment anyway. So, but anyways, that happened. So, she basically told them, and they denied my claim, and they didn't want to pay me because I think I did call in one day and I didn't go to work because the pain was like so bad. I just needed to like rest. And then at one point in time, my doctor he had reduced me, I think, to like 30 hours or 20 hours. I don't know. He had reduced my hours down. And it was kind of like hard for me to do that. And I tried to do it. Uh, but the thing is, I had two jobs. So even when my one job reduced my hours to whatever hours, it's kind of like I still had another job and I needed both of my jobs to pay my bills. So it's not like I could have just only worked one job. I mean, I guess I could have tried it temporarily, but it's like I wouldn't have had assistance with my bills or anything. So I just like kept working. And then as time went on, it's just like I continually got worse and worse and worse. And eventually it just got to the point where I couldn't hardly like hold my hand up or like drive or anything. And I'm just kind of like fast forwarded. It's just kind of like I eventually stopped working because at one point I did go to the ER also because whatever that doctor was trying to tell me to do was not helping or working. I just continually got worse. And I finally went to the ER because I even tried like everything they told me to do because I thought it was carpal tunnel. And he gave me like this carpal tunnel like thing to put on. And I even bought some other like wrist support things. And I tried to do my research on like carpal tunnel in particular. And then I also did get like some ultrasounds in my wrist, and it was saying I had cysts in my wrist. And so I did see different orthopedics, and they basically like asked them because I did my own research, and they were saying that they can go in and like pop it if it's like fluid filled, you can pop it or get it removed. And that's what I just asked the doctor, like, hey, can you just go ahead and because it's causing me a lot of pain. So I'm thinking that's probably could be causing me the pain. And then also, if there was a cyst that could possibly be was causing the nerve pain in my arm. Like, I mean, because your nerve does run through you know, all your body parts are connected. So that nerve does run through your wrist. And that's what I was thinking. Like maybe it's moving around and shifting, and maybe it's pressing on the nerve, caused the, nerve pain up my arm. So, and I wasn't sure if the pain was coming, like I said, I couldn't really tell if it was coming from here and going down or come from here and coming up. Like, I don't know. I just know my arm and wrist were both hurting. And I know it started in my wrist. So, and I was just confused because they had skipped this whole part of my arm and just went from my wrist to this part to my upper arm. So I was like, I can't really, because they kept trying to ask me, well, is the pain like coming from your arm going down to your wrist, or is it coming from your wrist down to your arm? And I'm like, I can't tell. All I know is it started in my wrist, and now this part hurt. Like it skipped this whole part. But I did get a few nerve conductive studies. I did do like the nerve test. And then even then he was kind of saying like he can't confirm for it and I had carpal tunnel because he was saying, well, yeah, it's showing a slight delay in your nerves, but it's I can't say that you have carpal tunnel. So I was like, oh my goodness. So I took my results from my ultrasound to the doctor that was treating me for my wreck, and I went back to him. I was like, hey, do you think that this could have been caused from my wreck? And do you think that it is carpal tunnel? Like, do you think I do? I just asked him, just like off the record, like, just give me your personal or your professional opinion, but without me being a patient. But he basically told me that, yeah, he was like, yeah, basically, it's saying you have this in your carpal bones. So, yeah, you have carpal tunnel. If it's causing like pain and you're having nerve pain. But he was saying as far as it being caused from your wreck, I can't necessarily say it or not say it. Because if I can't remember if the first wreck if I was holding the steering wheel or not. On one of my wrecks I couldn't remember. I think the first one I couldn't remember if I was holding the steering wheel or not. So I can't say if, the hit, like if you're holding it and then you just, I couldn't tell. I didn't remember. And then the second ring, I don't think, like it's been so long ago now, so I don't remember. But I don't think that I was on my second wreck. So, but anyways, he was just saying that he couldn't like say or not say that it was from my wreck. Because that's what he asked me to. He's like, well, I don't think you said that it was bothering you at the time. Or I might have said it. I don't really remember. I have to look at my records. But like when I was doing my therapy and stuff, it wasn't bothering me. So, it wasn't bothering me while I was having my treatments or whatever, but he was treating me for like my neck and my from one it was for my neck and one was for my back. So he was just saying he couldn't really say, I guess because at the time he was saying me I wasn't complaining. So but he was like, yeah, that's most definitely if it's something affecting your corporal bones, you have the little bones. That's called the corporal like region. So yeah. He was like, yeah, technically you do. So I was like, okay, well, I'm not crazy. But I did eventually go to the ER. Like I missed the day of work because the day before my job work or whatever, I was just like in a lot of pain. And one day I was supposed to work and I just didn't. I just called in. I don't remember between both of my jobs someone, but I was like, no, I just need to rest the day because I was getting worse and worse and worse. And the doctor is like, what do you call it? Like gaslighting me, trying to tell me it's not as bad as I'm trying to make it seem like it is. And I'm like, no, yeah, I can't go on like this. I can't use either one of my arms. Like something gotta get. But I wound up like not going to work. I went to the emergency room and kind of like explained it to them. And at the time, I did have like the carpal tunnel thing and they kind of asked me like, "Hey, what have you been doing?" And at this time, it had been like a couple of months. So it was like Octoberish, November. I don't know, but it had been a couple of months since I had started complaining, and I was just like, So I think about this time it was like I think it started like in July. So by this time it had been a couple of months, like October ish. And like, after a couple of months you're still not getting better, you just keep continually getting worse. And it's happening to like both sides. Like something is not right. But I guess because I'm right handed, it was bothering me more with my right hand because I couldn't do as many tasks with my left hand. So you can just imagine trying to do everything brush your teeth, take a bath, just every normally things if you're one-handed and try to do the other hand. So it's kind of like uh, when I could do stuff, take my time and try to learn, I would do it. But it's certain tasks that I just need to get done and have time to fool around. I will go ahead and do my right hand. But it just got to a point where I was just getting worse. So I went to the emergency room and they basically did the same thing. They kind of like brushed me off. And I feel like it was because I didn't have insurance. They basically did the same thing, just told me to take ibuprofen. And I just kind of told them, like, hey, I missed work or whatever. Like, the pain was so bad I couldn't go to work. And all they said was, hey, well, we'll give you a note for you missing work to excuse you. And but they basically gave me a note saying that I could like go back to work. And I was like, no, I can't go back to work. Like I can't like with them arms, I can't do anything. But they basically I think they was just trying to just get me out of there. Like I said, I didn't have insurance. So I think they just didn't want to do any tests or anything. But but during the whole fiasco, I did go to like different doctors trying to get like different diagnoses because after eventually I stopped working and like I said, I was injured. My neck was bothering me from one of my wrecks and my back. So at one point, like for a whole year, I had to get my mom to drop my kids off at school because they were not going to a school they were zoned at and they couldn't ride the bus. So I had to pick them up and drop them off. So my mom, she dropped them off like whole year. And then I just picked them up, even though it's like difficult because I can't even like hold the steering wheel for more than like 3 to 5 seconds at a time. I have to like hold it, stop, try to use the other arm. I kind of was like switching back and forth driving. So it was like, thank goodness the school wasn't like that far. So I just did she do it for a whole year? I think she did it for like a whole school year. Then the next year, I just kind of like sucked it up because my arms were feeling better because I just like rested, and I was going back and forth to the doctor to figure out what was going on. And it's kind of like I never got like a clear answer. And but on top of that, I kept trying to go back, and then on top of that, it's just because uh I guess my back had an injury to it, and I basically couldn't do anything. It was hard for me to cook, hard for me to use my arms to do anything, even like washing my hair, comb my hair, just like anything. But I did mostly like lay in the bed, and there was like a hard time for me because I went from working 2 jobs to doing nothing, just basically doing nothing all day. So that around during that time, I did get into YouTube a lot because I was like, well, hey, I could try to use this time to start learning how to start doing some things that I've always wanted to do, which one was gardening. So that's kind of how I found, that's kind of why I started trying to do some little plants at home and stuff. And I watched some videos just to learn how to get started with gardening and things. And then one day I did happen to come across this one YouTuber that became like at that time it's like my favorite YouTuber because I guess because I felt like I could relate to them. They lived in the South and they pretty much doing all the stuff that I wanted to do. So I started following them, and then I guess after I started feeling like better physically, I started getting into like trying to like just do little plants around the house and stuff. But that's like part of my journey to what I'm doing now. I have a YouTube channel now. It's because when I stopped working, I did watch a lot of YouTube videos just to give me some kind of like have some kind of life because it wasn't much that I could do all day besides just try to rest. And I guess it was like conservation for my nerves and muscles and just besides the stress of trying to figure out what's going on with me. I was having other stuff that started bothering me, like my neck has started back bothering me in my back. just got like really bad. And yeah, it was like my nerves. And then at one point I was it did start off with my arms, and like I said, my neck and my back started bothering me, and it was going down into my legs and stuff. At one point I had problem with like my toe. One of my toe kept getting swollen, and I was just having like a bunch of stuff going on. But I'm at 15 and a half minutes, so I'm gonna just kind of speed it up until like diagnosis. So over during that time, I had been going back and forth to the doctor trying to figure out what was going on with me. And so one doctor did diagnose me with like arthritis. They kind of just told me that I had arthritis in my hip, and like the same pain I feel in my hip, I was feeling in my wrist. So I was feeling like, and I did, like during this time, I did a lot of research on my own as far as what could be like going on with me. I saw a rheumatologist, and I told her I felt like I might have fibromyalgia because I wasn't getting like any diagnosis from the doctors I had been to. And I just kind of asked her, could she like test me to like rule out, because they had ruled out everything else. They ruled out like diabetes. They ruled out, well, they did diagnose me with carpal tunnel, but it was just because I was having other issues that was more than just my arms and wrists. And but like I say, some of these diagnoses it's just been like a hard time because some of them have the same symptoms. So if you're diagnosed with something, and I do wonder, which one is the true diagnosis, which one is like, I have all these conditions. Like I go back and forth trying to decide, and at one point in time, it's kind of like I just forget about diagnosis, and I just try to figure out ways just to help me like get through and cope with it and deal with it. And like I'm not like a heavily, I've never been a medication type of person. So I'm still on my journey to find like natural remedies. And through my journey, I have joined like Facebook group for some of the diagnoses that I have gotten. Like I do for sure. I know I have sciatica, like with the arthritis thing. Like even when I saw the doctor, they tested me, and they test. I guess they test you for like some kind of arthritis factor. And he told me that I did have it, but he was like, you slightly have it. And I was like, it don't matter if I either have it or I don't. So it was like some number that they go by, and it wasn't. So I think you have to be like a 5 to say you have it, and I was like at a 7. And so he was saying like I have a mild case, and I was like, okay, whatever. But he did diagnose me, but when I went back, he just said arthritis in general. They didn't tell me what kind. And I tried to like go back and get a like more detailed explanation as far as which kind, and they just kind of didn't answer my question. And and that's why I was trying to get a diagnosis as far as, you have certain conditions you should be doing certain things and you shouldn't be. So that's why I was trying to focus on getting a diagnosis as far as me knowing what I need to do for myself and for my body to heal. And it's like I was just kind of getting the runaround. So but I did finally get diagnosed with carpal tunnel, got diagnosed with arthritis, I got diagnosed with fibromyalgia, uh, and then just on my regular journey for doing other testing, I found out I had like 2 other things that could be contributing to like my health. One was called I forgot already. Oh, a Chiari malformation. It's kind of where your brain doesn't like fit where it's supposed to fit. It kind of like slides out of place, and it's kind of like a herniated brain, basically. And I found that out when I had one of my wrecks because I kept complaining about like my neck pain, like something in my neck. So they did like a scan MRI of my neck, and they had said that I had that. And from one of my wrecks, I did actually have a herniated disc from one of those when I had my wreck. So I was getting nerve pain like on this side of my neck. I would get this sometimes when I would look down, I would get a shooting nerve pain down my neck. And then I got diagnosed with sciatica, which is I do get nerve pain in my like a pinched nerve basically in my tailbone, in my hip on the left side. So it's just like I've been dealing with a lot. So that's why sometimes in my video, it's like I'm tired because sometimes I can't sleep. I'm in pain at nighttime. Uh, I like toss and turn trying to get comfortable. And sometimes the pain is just like wakes me up. I don't get like a full night's rest. And then like when I have the headaches, it's hard for me to like concentrate and focus. So sometimes in my videos when I'm repeating the same thing, I know I have done it a couple of times. It's kind of like when you lose your keys, you're trying to retrace your steps back to remember where your keys are. It's like I repeat the same thing because I'm trying to get my thought process on track. So it's like my brain trying to track its steps and go back to get on track to what I'm trying to say next. Because I feel like if I keep repeating it, then the next thought that I was thinking would like come back. So like that's what I'm saying. Like when you lose your keys, you don't remember. You try to go back to the last place you remember. Like okay, I went and checked the mailbox, and I know I brought them back in. I don't remember if I put them in the kitchen or and then you try to go back in your mind and you try to like go back and walk back and play it over and over. It's the same thing. It's just like my brain is replaying over and over the thought and I'm saying it. It's kind of like tracing my steps back to try to get on track to what I want to say. So that's why sometimes I do say the same thing over and over. Like it seemed like you just said that. But it's like, especially when I have a headache, it's like really hard because there's like a throbbing and it's hard for me to like concentrate and focus. So it's kind of like this example is like you have a little toddler that's like constantly calling you. Like if you're trying to have a phone conversation, you're cooking dinner and you're on the phone and your toddler's just like, Mommy, Mommy, Mom, Mom, Mom. It's like you can only ignore it for so long before you have to pay attention to it and then it's like still going, but you have to try to ignore it. So that's how my headache starts, just like something like a nagging, and you try to like continue go about your business, but it's just like, hey, I need attention. I need attention. I'm still here. Are you listening? It's kind of like that kind of thing, and it's like annoying. So that's why sometimes I'm talking, and then I just like pause mid sentence and then I keep talking is because I'm trying like I have a headache or like I'm trying to like focus. That's why some of my videos I do like go ahead and say like, hey, today I'm not feeling good. Today I have a headache. So that's why I know I did it for sure in one of my videos. And I think in the same video I was saying I had a headache. I kept like repeating myself because I was trying to get my thoughts together. But oh, I didn't say the last thing. I said the Chiari malformation thing. And then when I was pregnant with my daughter, I found out that I had forgot, I think it's called, I forgot what it's called. Oh, it's called like an alpha, dang, I forgot how to say it. Alpha, it's something like a blood thing. It's kind of like anemia, thalassemia. Oh, I think that's what it's called, alpha thalassemia. It's kind of like your blood cells are irregularly shaped, so like the oxygen doesn't bind to your cell, but it's just like I have a trait. So just say you need four genes to have the disease. Just say I have like one fourth of the gene or something. So it doesn't show up as like having the disease, but it'll just show up as a trait. And so like when I was pregnant, they did genetic testing and they said I had like a trait of that. And they wanted to test like my baby and her dad to make sure, if he had it, a trait too, then, there's a 50-50 chance of her having the disease or whatever. and there's like less possibility if I'm the only one with the trait, then you don't really have as high as a risk as having it. Because you get two genes for your mom, two genes for your dad. So yeah, if we both have it, then it's like a 50-50 chance. And by just me having it, I think there's like a 1/4 chance or whatever. However, the genetics work. But that's another thing because I do notice like I do get like tired a lot, easily burned out. So there could be something to which I heard. I did my own research. Like I said, with all these conditions, I have done my research and look at the symptoms. And some of them do have like similar symptoms. And I was supposed to go back and get like more testing for the last two, find like more specialists. Uh, that way they can like kind of pinpoint what I need to do as far as like health wise for myself and when do I need like medical attention. And my video is at 26 minutes and I don't want to go too far, but I have done like research on all my diagnosis and as far as like what extremes when I need medical attention. So I do have some clarification as far as like, okay, if this happens, then definitely it could be, a result of your condition. So you definitely need to go straight to the emergency room. And I'll just have to talk about that at another time because I did two videos and it's been close to an hour. So I'm going to go and I will see you